Whether it makes you laugh, cry, scream, or fly, there's a song for every emotion. We're Mike and Priya, and we talk about the songs that make up the soundtrack to your life. Because life is in the lyrics.
Hey, little listeners. Welcome back to Life is in the Lyrics. We had a different topic planned for this week, but sometimes life throws you a curveball, so we're rolling with it. And you're going to let us know how...
What that all means?
What that all means.
What that all means, yeah. I was like, let's think of all the metaphors that can describe the last sort of 48 hours of my life. Life giving you lemons.
Mm-hmm.
You know, throwing you a curveball, of course, rolling with the punches.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, wow, within the span of 24 hours, two very polar opposite things happened with two friends, both of whom I have one whom I've had completely lost touch with for about 10 years. And the other one who we've sort of just been occasionally texting back and forth for the last 2 years or so, and I haven't seen him in that time. And so, okay, let's take it from the positive. I have talked about this friend before, my friend Melissa, who who I've not seen in about 10 years. We were trying to place it. How long has it been? It's been somewhere around 10 years. And we drifted. But she reached out to me, and I had mentioned this, I think, on the podcast a couple of months before, that she reached out of the blue and said, hey, I've been thinking about you, and, wonder if you'd like to get a drink sometime. I'd love to, I'm around. And so we went out for a drink that first time, and then we went for another dinner on Friday night. Right now it's Sunday. We went for dinner on Friday night. And we had a really, really great time. Just like, they say, here's another metaphor. It's like riding a bicycle. You just get back on and it's just easy.
Yeah.
We just fell right back into place. Like that first dinner that we had after 10 years of not seeing each other was kind of awkward.
Yeah.
Stilted. We didn't really know how to navigate. But after we got past that, we had such a great time. And as I was heading to see her on Friday, I was thinking to myself, because you and I have been talking so much about friendships lately on this podcast. And I was thinking about the summer, this long stretch of summer ahead of me, and thinking, I need to expand my social network. I need to see the friends that I haven't seen in a long time. So I started reaching out. I just started texting people as I was on my way to meet her. And I reached out to, I think, like 5 or 6 different people. It's like, hey, how are you doing? Let's plan something soon. One of those people that I reached out to was a friend, was the other friend that I mentioned at the beginning, who I haven't seen in 2 years. And that's because he's been going through so many health issues, and he'd been in and out of hospital, like in the ICU. And I reached out to him and I said, at Friday 6:06, I said, hey, how's it going? Should we try for a coffee or something in the next week or so? And then, I had my great night with Melissa, lovely night, and was really feeling quite upbeat and happy. And the next night, I was at home. It was actually in the afternoon, I guess around 4 o'clock. And I got a message from that other friend's sister. It was a group message to a bunch of us, and she just reached out and say, hi, it's his sister, and I hate to tell you guys this way, but he died yesterday. We think he died in his sleep. I'm heading to Toronto right now, so I'll have more information, and if you want to talk or have any questions, I'm here. So I did have a quick chat with her, and I was like, this is like a shock, and asked her how she's doing, and this whole situation was just like so surreal to go from one end of the ping pong court to the other. And it was a shock to hear about his passing, not a surprise at all. I think it was just kind of like a matter of how long can his body keep fighting? So yeah, that's been the curveball. And then I messaged you yesterday. I was like, hey, I know we're planning to record tomorrow and we have this whole other topic planned, but this is what just happened. And I think, I don't think I can really just pretend like it hasn't happened.
Yeah.
So let's just see how this goes and let's just talk about that.
Okay. So here we are.
So here we are.
And so we've decided to shift this topic
Yes.
from our plan to something that's more reflective, would you say?
More reflective, more off the cuff, I think.
Yeah.
It's hard to think of songs that fully encapsulate this particular situation because there's one really lovely thing blossoming
Mm-hmm.
and then something that has just kind of come to an end,
Mm-hmm.
full stop.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I've been checking in with myself a lot and thinking, how do I feel? How do I feel? Do you ever have those moments when you're like,
Oh, God, yeah. All the time.
but like where you're actually like, I don't like, do I feel sad? Do I feel confused? What am I really feeling? And it's so hard to isolate.
Well, it's probably very complex because it's not a feeling. It's a combination of things, I would think.
Yeah.
You know, you have, as you pointed out, you've had this really nice reconnection. And then, you know, the passing of this friend is
Yeah.
there isn't an opportunity to have a similar reconnection with this
No.
person.
And I think that's what I kind of get stuck on is like,
Mm-hmm.
I just, part of me also, like if he, just the timing of it all, because I sent that message on Friday evening, I don't know if he saw it. Maybe he did see it. Was he intending to reply? Was he like, I don't know, like, I kind of hope he did see it. Maybe just knew I was thinking about him. But then part of me is like, maybe he just saw it and thought, oh, here's another performative text of, yeah, let's get together, which we've been saying for 2 years and hasn't happened. So, yeah, it's complicated.
Yeah. And grief is many stages as well, right?
Yeah.
So you're in one of those stages and you'll go through the others. And being reflective, I think, is a really good, positive thing to do. I think that you're questioning how you feel is perhaps, you know, a healthy thing because you're feeling something.
Feeling
Obviously.
a lot of things. Yeah. Getting a little teary right now because I haven't really like cried about it, but in a way that's because I feel like I've mourned him for such a long time. You know, it's like his physical body is gone now, but I feel like the person I knew kind of was gone a long, long time ago. And so every time we did get together, and there is this guilt because I didn't want to get together, like because I knew what it would be, and it was never going to be like a positive. I was never coming away from those encounters over the last 5, 6, maybe even 10 years, really ever feeling positive.
Yeah.
You know, and definitely not feeling positive about him or how his health was. I was always like, oh man. And seeing his just like physically shrink too.
Yeah.
Because he was a big guy. Like you met him. Like he was a tall, tall guy. And then he was just like a skeleton for the last decade or so. So it's been really a weird melange, like a soup of emotions.
So given that we're a music podcast and
Yeah.
we say life is in the lyrics,
Yes.
that's the name of the podcast. And life is complex. It has all kinds of layers to it. And like life, music, there are so many different songs, so many different layers to different kinds of music, different genres. And, you know, I think that music, it can be very therapeutic.
Yep.
And certainly we've talked about this in other episodes where using music to get you through or distract you or help shift a frame of mind, right?
Yeah.
It's a, you know, it's like a good therapy.
It is. It is. Like, honestly, I feel like music did help me get through the day yesterday because I don't go to therapy anymore. And I don't really know if I would have even wanted to talk to my therapist if I was still seeing her. But what I did do yesterday was, luckily, just out of the blue, at 10 or 20 minutes after I got that text message, my neighbor a couple of doors down messaged and said, hey, are you around? Can I bring Ollie over for a doggy play date? And I was like, yep, that will be great. So we sat outside. I didn't say anything to her, but I got to just kind of, you know, like not think about it and just watch these three dogs. Well, the two, Toby and Ollie, were playing up a storm, and Kaya reluctantly came into the backyard and then sat with her back to us, facing the gate, waiting to go inside for the entire hour. Such a little snob.
Yeah.
So I got to just be distracted and just kind of have a nice, nice time watching these dogs. But then I went inside and I forced myself to cook because I had planned to do a bunch of food prep yesterday. And I put on Casey Musgraves because Danielle and I are going to see her concert later this summer.
Oh.
Yes, I'm very excited about that. So I was listening to her new album, and like she's got this great song on it called Dry Spell, which has quite funny lyrics. So, I just kind of let myself get swept up in a bit of music. And then of course I had to turn to Taylor.
Yeah.
But I put on her fitness spotlight playlist on Apple Music. So it was all a bunch of bangers and up-tempo songs. So like music really did get me through. I smoked a little, not gonna lie.
Okay.
I was like, I just need to connect with how I'm feeling really, because I have this habit of forced denial. I'm just like, I just kind of push things aside sometimes. So I was like, no, I think I really need to like just tap into this because there's no point tapping out at this point. So I smoked up a little bit, just a little bit, and was listening to music. Take the edge off. And
nice. Yeah. One of the things I wanted to talk about with our kind of updates that we usually give each other and our little listeners, that actually ties in, I think, well with what we're discussing today around friendships is while you were in New York, my roommate and good friend Marcia came to Toronto.
Yeah, you had talked about that she was coming. So
yeah, and so she came to Toronto, and we went to see Lowest of the Low.
Oh, nice.
At what is it on the Danforth? What's that venue?
Oh, the Danforth Music Hall.
Danforth Music Hall. Yeah, we went there.
And you guys have seen them together before? Or
no,
okay.
No, we did not. We haven't seen them together before. I don't know if she's seen them. I saw them with Don. I took Don when we first started dating, and he fell asleep in the concert. So I guess he was not a super fan.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, but Marcia and I, we've stayed connected since university. So we met in university. We both actually met. I was trying out for the rowing team, and she was trying out for the women's rowing team. And then we became fast friends.
Yeah.
And throughout all of university, we were really close. And Marcia and I, we ended up living together in several different places. We lived together. And it got to, like, I think I've talked about this before, where we had this house, it was this old Victorian house, and it had just this little counter in front of a window. And Marcia was really big on Martha Stewart Living. She loved Martha Stewart Living. And so she'd splurge and get herself the magazine. And we would always be flipping through, and we'd always be doing our little DIY projects. But we would sit and we would make our dinners or whatever on this little counter. We're talking like a 2-foot counter. Like it was tiny. But we used to pretend that the window that the counter was in front of was our window to our audience.
Oh,
so we'd be like, today on Mike and Marcia Living.
Oh my God.
We're doing.
Does she need to be a guest? I think she does.
Oh yeah. We had so much fun. And but it got to the point where we were so tight that people thought that we were dating. We thought we were a couple. And even the two of us, I think it got to a point where like, this is way too familiar and way too comfortable.
Right.
And it's like, after university, we both got jobs and we're both trying to find ourselves and live our lives. And
were you still living together?
We were. And then she moved out, and it was like, okay, this was the break.
Yeah.
And she moved off and to Ottawa, and now she lives in Peterborough. And, I have this thing that happens annually, and my friend Jody will tell me that, she'll roll her eyes when she hears this, because I've had this kind of tradition around the New Year's where I think about, okay, well, what happened this year? What did I do? Did I accomplish anything? Did I learn anything?
Right.
Like, what was my, what did I get out of this year? And I would go through these, episodes and do all this self-reflection. And as I've gotten older, I still do that. And I usually go down to the basement. I mean, and you've seen our basement. It's full of boxes
Yeah.
of crap.
Well, you keep everything.
I know, I do. And I've referenced that in many episodes.
Many.
But I'll go through boxes because I think I'm going to go down and I'm going to like purge some stuff. I'm going to filter through.
Right.
But what I end up doing is going
down memory
through,
lane.
going down memory lane. So I end up taking photos, usually I find photos of Marcia and I, and so I'll take photos and I'll send it to her. I'll send it by text. Excuse me. The last year I found all these cards and letters that because I keep birthday cards. I have boxes of birthday cards. And,
you're the only person.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But I was going through some of these and she wrote some really lovely letters to me. And so I took photos and I sent them to her as well.
That's sweet. Like actual letters?
Yeah. So, thinking about friendship, and I know you're going through a bit of a interesting combination of up and down. But is kind of kooky and, I make fun of it a little bit, all this self-reflection. I really value thinking about the good times that I've had with friends.
Me too.
And it's kind of like you take certain things for granted. Like like you said, with this friend who recently passed away, you've known him for a long time and you've probably got some really good memories with him. I have a really good memory of something that we did with him.
Really?
Yeah.
What memory? Tell me.
Do you remember your birthday when we had a karaoke party?
Oh, at your place? Yes.
Yeah. And he was instrumental in helping pull that together.
I know.
And we had so
I
much
loved
fun at that party.
Birthday.
It was so much fun. And he was totally into it.
Yeah.
Like he was like full on having a great time. I remember Dawn was out, and when he came home, he was trying to get Dawn to participate. And Dawn was like, I got to get out of here because the pressure from this guy for me to participate. But he was like having a great time and it was so much fun. And I think it's an important part of understanding how we feel about this, like what we go through when there is loss, especially when it's tied to a friend or a loved one, is to also think about the times, all those times together, to be able to kind of, I think, put into context some of the feelings that we feel.
It's interesting that you bring up that memory because I hadn't thought about that. And I was trying to think, like, when was the last time we had a good time together?
Yeah.
And I couldn't remember. I actually couldn't remember the last time that we had a healthy hang. So thank you for reminding me about that because that was probably one of my top 3 favorite birthday memories. Just I have done karaoke at so many birthdays and you've been there for all of those. But that one was different because we had our own place. We just ordered Indian food buffet and people were just we set it up and it was literally a buffet around the table and it was so casual and it was such a big space you guys had and we didn't have to worry about, we're running out of time or anything. It was just... And I remember Nick, my former roommate, walking in at some point, and I remember him just kind of walking in and being like, what is going on here? And then he sang some crazy rap song. Yeah, that was a great memory for sure. It is really nice to remember that. I remember a lot of the times around when we first met, because we met through work. And at that time, I didn't know that he was gay. And so I thought that he was... I just inherently didn't like him because he seemed so macho and so cocky. Like I was trying to show him the ropes of how our systems worked at that job and stuff. And he was just like, yeah, okay. Are we done? And I was like, I don't need to waste my time showing you how to do this shit. And I only actually warmed up to him once I found out he was gay.
Oh
Isn't
my
that
God.
ridiculous? I was like, okay, I think we can be friends now because I just thought you were a macho douchebag. But now I just
you're
know
a bitchy queen.
You're just a bitchy queen. And I love those.
Yeah.
So then we became fast friends. So I remember those times fondly.
Well, I find one of the things that I find helpful for me when there are these kinds of moments, because Priya, let's face it, we ain't getting any younger.
No.
And
Nope.
when I hear stories about people that I know who are struggling or have passed away, it's so cliche, but it's this reminder that
Yes.
life is fleeting.
Yes.
It's fleeting. It's short. The amount of energy we expend on things that are, we think
Yep.
important. And then something like this happens and you're reminded, oh, yeah, actually, how do I want to spend my time? Do I really want to be spending my time fretting over this, what seems quite pointless in the scheme of things, given a new development like this? Probably not.
No.
The question is, how do we hold on to that?
Yeah. When you were talking about that, I was like, and as I was thinking about this whole situation and trying to think of songs that really related to it, there's a song by Tim McGraw called Live Like You Were Dying
Yeah.
from
I
back in
remember that.
2004. And
Yeah.
I love that song.
Yeah.
Like that song is all about really like not wasting time
Yeah.
or just exactly what it says in the title, live like you were dying.
Yeah.
Like if you knew you only had, I think in the chorus it says, he says, I asked him when it sank in that this might really be the end. How's it hit you when you get that kind of news? Man, what did you do? And he said, I went skydiving. I went
Rocky Mountain climbing. I went 2.7 seconds on a bull named Fu Manchu. And I loved deeper and I spoke sweeter and I gave forgiveness I'd been denying. And he said, someday I hope you get the chance to live like you were dying.
What
Yeah.
a song.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, and we could do a whole episode on forgiveness, but with this other friend who I've reconnected with, it wasn't about forgiveness. It was just about like a situation that I couldn't deal with how she was dealing with it. And so it's not about me forgiving her. It's about me understanding that she had to deal with it in the only way she knew how to deal with it. And I just, when I, like we went for dinner and then we were like, well, what are we going to do now? It's 7:30. It's 7:30. And she's like, I mean, I don't want to just go home. And I was like, I don't want to go home either. So we drove to my house. We dropped the cars off and then we walked to the Danforth. We went to Noonan's for
nice. Yeah.
and we both got like soft drinks because we'd already had a glass of drink at wine. We didn't really want to drink, but we just kind of didn't really want that night to end because it was, and as she left, I thought, it feels so good to be reconnected to her because she was such a good friend that I'd known for super long.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I knew her before. But anyways, I've known her
We
for
did
like
we did that
25.
TV show together.
We did that TV show
Yeah.
together. That's right. So it just felt, we picked up right where we left off and we were reminiscing about some of the insane times we'd had together. And it just felt like no time had passed. She doesn't look at all different. It was just really beautiful. So it's just like life is like that, you know?
Yeah.
One day you're going to have a beautiful, amazing day. And the next day you're going to hear some fucking hard news.
Yeah.
And you got to float between those two
Yes.
somehow.
Yeah.
Try to do it with grace and just try to reach out maybe. Like the number of people I reached out to this past week, pretty much everybody that I reached out to our friend who'd moved to the East Coast, right? And I was like, why are we so bad at keeping in touch?
East Coast, West Coast.
Sorry, West Coast.
Right.
Sorry, yeah. And
Hey, Nicole.
hi, Nicole. She never listens anyways. But, but I almost feel like I hear more from her daughter
Yeah.
than I do from her. We just haven't been great at keeping in touch.
Yeah.
And when we do, it's like no time has passed, but we're not great at doing it. So I don't know. Just do it.
Do you, it's funny how with social media and technology, there are more ways to keep in touch now than there ever were. Back in our parents' childhood days, you would have written a letter and waited for a reply.
That's true.
Because not everybody had telephones.
Right.
And
Isn't that crazy to think of that?
And now we can just text, WhatsApp,
You can
email, Facebook,
Pop on a video
DM,
call with them.
slide in,
Slide in,
video.
slide out.
Yeah.
You know?
Like there's so many different ways. And yet I think, and this is going to be an excuse, but I think one of the things for me is there's just so many ways to keep in touch. I just can't be bothered anymore.
I know.
It's too overwhelming.
It's almost too many ways.
Yeah.
So you'll like or comment on a post that they've done and you're like, I'm in touch.
But that's not really meaningful engagement.
It's not.
Who was I speaking with? Was it? I don't know if it was you. I was speaking. Oh, it was with Marcia. Yeah, we went for dinner. We had some great conversations when she was here. And
I have to just say this, Marcia. It just had to come out.
one of the things we talked about was how with social media, one of the things that's ruined is connecting with people and catching up. Because people, if they're on social media, they're posting things and you get the perception that you know what they're going through or what's happening in their life. It's obviously very curated, whatever it is.
It's usually only the positives or the very negatives, like if a loss of somebody people sometimes post about.
So, and I was like, yeah, and I have been thinking about my own kind of connections with people and the conversations that I have and thinking, one of the things I've noticed about myself is I don't share a lot of information with other people. I wait for people to ask me a question.
You don't volunteer it.
I don't volunteer it.
Like what kind of information do you mean?
I don't know. Like I just feel like there isn't enough exciting going on in my life to have anything to say.
Right.
So when people say things like, oh, so how are you and what's going on? I'm always really vague and, oh, everything's good. Work is busy.
Yeah.
And if the podcast comes up, I'll say, it's a really great creative outlet and I really enjoy it. But I don't really have much else to say, or I don't think I have much else to say.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of a weird thing, though. If somebody asks you, like, hey, how's it going? What's new? That's a very broad question because, first of all, how well do you know this person? Is it somebody like you're close to but just haven't seen in a while? Like, what level of
new or information? Yeah,
exactly.
I got new shoes. Is that interesting enough?
I actually was telling Melissa about your shoes because she was wearing new shoes that day and she was getting blisters.
Yeah.
So I brought up that.
That is, good chat. Good chat.
But she said, well, I didn't know I was going to be walking today. And I was like, he knew.
Yeah.
He knew. But you're right. Like I think that sometimes even when a good friend asks me that, because I was just connecting with another friend, somebody we'd had on the podcast before, and I haven't talked to her in a while, but not a huge length of time, but maybe a month or two. And she said, how are you doing? What's new? And I was like, that was on text. And I thought, well, it's a weird, like I can't just splay out on text what's new.
Yeah.
So you kind of sum it up. I was in New York for 2 weeks visiting because my friend was away, blah, blah, blah. But that's not really an accurate update. So it's a weird thing unless you're sitting across from someone or on the phone or engaged in a conversation that's not by text.
Yeah.
To answer those questions.
Well, yeah, and also thinking about what you're saying with your reconnection with the friend is it takes a bit of time as well to find that spot where you just kind of open up and things, you start chatting.
Yeah, to get beyond the surface, right? Yeah, it does take some time. Are there any songs that, once I mentioned this to you that kind of came to mind for you?
Well, funny thing.
Okay.
So when you arrived today, what was I doing?
Oh my God. And we're going to post this video. Mike was miking it up because Mike is like a handyman. Listen, this is how I describe you, okay? If somebody doesn't know you, I'm like, Mike is like the most fun guy in the world. He can build you a house and then bake you a cake in it and decorate it for you. That's what I say. And he's the best dancer.
The house or the cake? Decorate the house or decorate the
cake? Both. Because sometimes I remember your Christmas cookies that you do like Martha Stewart does them and you actually replicate them with the intricate, like it's like doing a henna pattern. And we were baking cookies one year and I had my doughs that I was bringing and I saw what you were doing and I was like, oh, we are in two very different leagues here. Two very, very different leagues. Mine are just lumps. There's like, here's a ginger cookie and there's no decorating, but yours were like carefully I don't even know how you describe that kind of frosting.
It's just there's royal frosting. It's the when
But
you're.
the detail work.
Yeah.
Anyways. And so that's how I describe you. So when I came over, you were in the backyard tearing apart a wooden fence
And the deck,
and the deck, and you had to take the stairs off the deck in order to fix that wall. And I was just like, oh, this is.
Yeah, it's
is
this
a
whole
lot.
thing has spiraled.
But also, you were singing. You had your headphones on,
Yeah.
and you were singing Romeo and Juliet. No,
Yeah.
is that what it's called? Romeo and Juliet.
Love Story.
by Taylor.
Yeah. I was listening to a Taylor Swift music mix, the essentials of Taylor Swift on Apple Music.
Haven't you said to me that I'm obsessed with Taylor many times in the past?
Yeah, but I don't know how that has anything to do with what we're talking about right
you're
now.
right. Carry on.
Yeah, so I've been listening to music as I've been doing all of this.
Sorry,
yard
one
work.
more question.
Yes,
A couple of months ago, didn't you say that you listened to her entire catalog?
I did.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's no further questions.
Okay. So, so you asked me if any songs came to mind. And as I've been doing this yard work and, fixing things, I do like to listen to music as I'm doing things. I find it's very motivating. And there were some songs that came on. I was listening to this 90s mix yesterday.
Okay.
And one of the songs that the mix started with was the Black Eyed Peas.
Okay.
I got a feeling.
Yeah.
That tonight's gonna be a good night. And that immediately, and I know we've talked about this on the podcast, but it immediately took me back to our wedding, Dawn and my wedding, because that's what we kind of kicked off the dance part of our wedding too. And there were a couple other songs on there on this mix. And I'm like, oh, I have to write this down. I didn't write them down. But I'm telling you, as these songs came on, I was like transported back into different times, different moments, and people that were a part of that were like fresh in my head. It's like, oh yeah, I totally remember this.
Yeah.
It was one of the songs was John Cougar.
Yes.
He was born on the 4th day of July. So his parents called him Independence Day.
I don't know that
He
one.
met a girl named Justice. He gave birth to the son called Nation, and she walked away. Those lyrics are wrong, but this was a song that my friend Linda introduced. She loved John Cougar Mellencamp, and she introduced me to this album, and we had that album on repeat. We and every party we had, every barbecue we had, every social engagement. And that song especially would come on, or we'd play it on our cassette tapes. And it totally took me back to this barbecue that I had in my backyard. And we had this on. We were in high school. We had been drinking, and we were pre-drinking to go to a school dance.
Okay.
So there was a whole group of us. We're in our backyard, and we were like busting it to this song because there's a certain part in the song where all the percussion starts going. And Linda, she would I could see her now with her curly hair and shaking her arms and doing the whole shoulders. It was like, and I'm singing at the top of my lungs probably out there and having this, flashback.
Yeah.
And it's like I was there.
I know.
I just felt it. I was like back in that moment.
Memory is such a weird thing. And again, with the lyrics, like we've talked about this, how we wouldn't have heard a song for 20, 30 years, but then it comes on the radio randomly. And you know all the words. How is that locked into my brain?
Yeah.
And if somebody asks me something about work from last week, I cannot remember. Like because I think music it triggers something in us, right? So it's
yeah, because there's the music, and then there's also the people.
Yeah,
and
it's like
the
a gateway.
experience.
It's like that the music unleashes a whole memory in your brain. That's amazing.
Yeah, so those were two songs that I had, and I'm glad I remembered that John Cougar song because I was like, I got to remember this one. I've got to remember this one.
And yet you didn't even remember to write it down.
No, I didn't.
No,
yeah. Well, I was in the midst. Like I'm telling you, I got tools out. I'll take a photo of my backyard so that we can post it because it's a hot mess right now.
It is. But it's going to look beautiful.
Yeah, well, I hope so.
Are you going to paint it the same color that it is right now? Okay.
Yeah.
Because you're not taking the entire thing apart?
No.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, there were a couple of songs that we've talked about in recent episodes that I
Mm-hmm.
feel are very, I don't even know what the word is. Like, they just ring so
Poignant?
true right now. And those are Unwritten, which we talked about, I think, just last
yeah.
week, and Landslide.
Yeah.
You know? Why? Well, you had a...
Well, Unwritten came on as
Mhm.
well on this mix, and I had to skip it. And one of the reasons why is because I really don't like Sydney Sweeney.
Oh,
I
so
don't
now
like
you're
her.
identifying the song with her.
Yes.
That's unfortunate.
I know, because
It's
it
a
was
great
in that
song.
movie.
Yeah, it was in that movie, but you didn't see that movie.
No, I didn't, but I did see something online where they basically showed every clip from that movie where she sang that song with that Glenn Powell guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, this totally ruined it for me. I'm going to have to get over it, of course. But
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's such a great song itself. So it's unfortunate that it's been tainted by a movie that you haven't even seen.
no, it's not the movie, it's the person.
It's the person. I
I'm
know.
just, I don't know Sydney Sweeney.
I know.
She's probably a lovely person, but for some reason,
I know.
she gives me the ick.
Yeah. I got to say, she gives me ick factor too, but maybe unfairly so, but I just...
Well, I think most likely unfairly for both of us.
Probably. We don't even
we
know
don't
her.
even know her. It's
but
not like
we
we've
know-
ever met her.
That's right. The other song was Landslide, which is also like, both two songs are about like just life and like you don't know what's coming. And also you can change the course of your life. You can change, like sometimes when I think about how I used to be so focused on every little thing that was wrong. And I just try to fix, change things. And over the last like 4 or 5 years, I think probably since my dad passed away, I have come to a place where I'm able to just be like, do I have any way of affecting this situation? Can I change this at all? No? Then I'm not going to worry about it. And I don't. And so friends have commented on that in me because that's not who I was for the first like 47, 48 years of my life. But I don't know how it happened. And I'm so glad it has, because there is 0 point in fixating on something that you cannot influence one way or the other.
Yeah.
So
Is there
think about other things.
are there any
Examples?
Well, what, like, are you seeing any common elements to these things?
In what way? What do you mean, common element?
Well, how do you identify something that you've
Right.
realized now is not something that you can change?
Well,
What
if
are
if it's somebody else's expectations, for example, not necessarily about me, but about what life owes them, you know, it's like, I can't keep having this conversation with you. If you are just wanting to sit there and hope life will change magically around you without being able to actually do something to make things different, or to accept that they're not going to be different, then I just can't. Like, I guess the better example would be family stuff. Like family stuff, I would always try to fix the family dynamics.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I can't fix the dynamics because I can only fix my part of the dynamics. And if they don't want to change how they react, or if they have these expectations of what I owe them or what the rest of the family owes them, then I can't. I can't change that. So, live your life.
Yeah.
I just cannot engage in that anymore. And God, it is the most freeing thing in the world.
Yeah.
It really is. So I keep trying to tell that to friends when I see them going through similar things with family, because family is the hardest, because we've been with those patterns our whole lives.
Yeah.
And it's like, can you change what is happening right now? Can you change that person's emotion? Because sometimes we think, if I just reason with them, if I am just rational, if I take the emotion out of it and I just try to present the facts, obviously they're going to see, no.
Yeah. Yeah, I can relate to that. I also do a lot, as you know, of ruminating.
Your new favorite word.
My retroactive rumination, where when I'm not in the midst of something, I think about things and I think, I identify what my triggers are. And I think, I saw where I went wrong there, and it was because of this and this. Like, these were the triggers for me.
Right.
So I need to and it's not that where I went wrong, but I just saw how I responded a certain way, and I don't like responding that way, so I need to change that. I'm not gonna do that anymore. But then I get into a situation again, and I respond that way.
Yeah.
And it's hard to
It's
kind of like
hardwired,
undo
right?
those patterns, right? But I think that reflecting a little bit on it and identifying the triggers is a good start.
Yes, absolutely a good start. And you know what else is a good tool for that?
What?
And this is something that I think we've heard for as long as we've been able to form like real thoughts. So like after childhood, they always say like, wait 10 seconds, count to 10 before responding.
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah.
You know, and so sometimes it's not just in the moment. Like if you receive a text that is, you know, you're like, oh my God, what is this about? You don't have to respond right away. Because if you do respond right away, oftentimes it's just going to be
An
a defensive, emotional reaction, right?
Yeah.
So I had that happen with another, another family situation recently where I got this email and I was like, what is this? And and I could tell it was written by AI.
Oh.
And that also was just like, really? You couldn't just have talked to me about this? Like, we have talked about this before. You couldn't have just, and I wanted to respond with like, I just want to lash out, because I just want to be like, what the fuck are you, fucking you? Well, how dare you? And I just was like, I'm not going to respond right now. And I waited till the next day. And then I just responded with a very short, very unfiery response, So yeah, just take a few deep breaths or just let it sit.
Yeah.
Nobody is demanding that you respond right away to
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
I don't know how we ended up talking about that, but some of the songs, other songs that I had thought about were, I mean, obviously like Taylor does write a lot of songs about everything, and two of hers. One of the songs that came on that fitness playlist was "I Wish You Would." Do you remember this song?
How does it go again?
I wish you would come back. Wish I'd never hung up the phone like I did.
Oh, yeah.
I wish you knew that I'd never forget you as long as I'd live. And I wish you were right here, right now. It's all good. I wish you would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was on 1989.
Was it? Okay.
Yes.
See? I'm sorry. You do like to say that I'm obsessed with Taylor.
I'm not obsessed.
How do you know
It's
that?
a fact. It's just a fact.
How do you know that fact? Unless you had listened to her discography at depth.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So that song was just like, it's not really about friends particularly, but I do. I wish I had said, that I care about you. I'm sorry that you're struggling. I mean, sometimes you think that people just know these things. And it's like, maybe he didn't. Maybe he just thought I was annoyed and thought he was a nuisance. But I wish he'd known that even if there was a part of that, like I did love him, and I did wish he was able to get better. And I kind of wish I'd said that. But we always say these things, don't we? Like,
yes,
we're gonna grab life by the horns.
Yeah. Well, earlier in this episode, I said, how do we like maintain that sense of what's important?
Yeah.
And the reality is probably it's not something that can be maintained so that it's always present.
No.
But it helps. It's kind of like the seasons. Appreciating the summer because you've had winter. So understanding happiness in the context of sadness. And so having these emotions and having these thoughts after something important has happened in life is part of experiencing life and understanding, I do need to make some time, more time maybe, or be more conscious or more intentional about, the things that are important to me. And maybe some of those things, maybe one of those intentional things is to think about, what do I really care about? What does make me happy?
Yeah.
And maybe I should be going and doing something like that right now.
Right. And who are the people that I miss in my life that I wish I was more in contact with, and what's stopping me from being in contact with them? There's something I want to mention about what you just said in a second, but there's one other song that I heard on the way over here, Who Knew by Pink.
Oh,
Remember that
yeah.
song?
Yeah.
That was written actually about a friend of hers who had overdosed, actually about several friends, but one in particular who had overdosed. And she says that it's still one of her favorite songs to perform that she never gets tired of because it has evolved over
Yeah.
time. At times she feels like it's about her grandmother. At times she feels like it's about her partner. And at times she feels like it's about the friends that she's lost. But it is such a beautiful song about, you know, if the chorus is, if someone said 3 years from now,
Yeah.
you'd be
If
long gone.
someone said 3 years from now, you'd be long gone, I'd stand up and punch them out. 'Cause they're all wrong, yeah.
Yeah.
That
And that,
last kiss I cherished. You said we'd meet again. Time makes it
knows the lyrics.
harder. I wish I could remember, but I keep your memory.
There it
You
is.
visit me in my sleep, my darling. Who
Who
knew?
knew?
Yeah, that is a good. I forgot about that one.
It is a great song.
Yeah.
And it's so true because you think these people, you think your friends will be around forever.
Yeah.
You think everybody you
Friends,
love,
family. pets,
everybody you
yeah,
love is
yeah.
going to be around forever.
Yeah.
And so you don't really say the things you always need to say to them, you know? And it's part of the reason why I love doing this podcast so much is that I get to see you all the time. And like we get to have
Abuse
fun.
me for a good hour.
Yes. And it gives me so much joy.
It does.
And you take it so well.
I do. I really do.
You're a masochist.
Yeah.
And I'm a sadist.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we work so well
We're
together.
like the yin to each other's yang.
That's right. And then he cuts out half the shit I say.
No, actually. Well, that's true. I do.
Yeah.
But I keep the good stuff.
You keep the good stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
so the rest of it is boring.
Yes.
Yes, I am glad that we do this. And I have to say, like, this has brought me so much joy. So you had said something about you can only feel happy because you felt sad. So I was thinking about this friend who's gone now and just wondering, like, because that too, like death. Oh, if I start thinking about that, I'm like, well, what has happened?
Where'd they go?
What? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what happens? And that I could sit and wonder about for years and years. But there's a show called The Good Place. Have you seen that show? Did you ever watch it through to the end?
I don't know.
At the very, very ending, they do get to the good place, which is heaven.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But heaven it turns into sort of this transitionary place where they're with all the people that they've loved and they're just happy constantly.
Yeah.
And it's always happy.
Yeah.
But then the people who've been there for eternity, for so long, are kind of insane because it's just happiness, but there's no context.
Right, right.
And so eventually, when they've had enough of that pure joy and bliss and they can't take it anymore, they just go off into the void. And it is such a beautiful description of what happens at the end. Like that last episode, if you just go back and watch the last 2 or 3 episodes, Mike, I think it gave me so much of a different perspective on, you know, what happens afterwards.
Yeah, yeah.
And I do feel like he is somewhere, he's just stardust now.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
stardust
Yeah.
and his molecules or whatever could be like out in space somewhere now. And it's like, that's all we really are. It's just energy that comes and goes.
So, well, what do you think about the memories? Do you think that again, it's a bit cliche, but do you think that people live on through the memories and being remembered?
I think so. I hope so. But that is also fleeting because the people that know you will be gone in another 50 years and then there will be no one to remember you. Right? So unless you're a celebrity or if you've
People are going to be listening to this.
forever and
It'll
ever
be
and ever.
implanted in their brain.
Yeah, maybe we'll be like, you know, standard listening for
Like, who are
school
these
kids.
ding dongs?
Ding dongs is right. Dumb and dumber.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Shamil and Shamazel.
Schlemazel.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to sing that a little bit from that song Stars up on
Okay.
Heaven's Boulevard by a band I've never heard of called Grace Potter and the Nocturnals.
Okay.
But I only discovered this song on The Voice years ago. And you said you were going to say something about that.
Yeah, I can't remember what it
Oh,
was.
God. Was it good? It was good. Was it about how much I obsess about The Voice?
No, I can't remember what it was now. But you made me laugh. Whatever it was that you said, you made me laugh.
Well, that happens a lot, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I do laugh at you a lot. I mean, with you a lot.
okay, I was just gonna check there. So this goes, I can look at the stars. They make me wonder where you are. Stars up on heaven's boulevard. And if I know you at all, I know you've gone too far. So I can look at the stars. Oh,
Oh,
yeah. I hope he's at peace up there, wherever he is.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, little listeners. Well, thank you for listening to this episode of Life is in the Lyrics. And if you have any thoughts and comments that you want to share, you can do that by sliding into our DMs on Instagram. That's The Little Podcast. Or drop us an email at lifeisinthelyrics@gmail.com. We'll see you next Wednesday.
See you next time.